Hello, I'm Harshit here, your business communication teacher. I'm back to college today after many days and it feels very bright and pleasant here. Let us start with another topic today. We are going to look at barriers to communication. Within barriers, let us focus on our topic number 2, language barriers. Now, language barriers, as they're also called semantic barriers, semantic, language, it's one and the same thing. You can logically tell language barriers are the ones that occur when you do not understand each other's language. Yeah, that is the simplest thing you can imagine. I'm speaking Hindi, somebody else is speaking Tamil. We do not understand each other. It's language barrier, as simple as that. However, of course, it goes much beyond that. Language barriers can also occur when two people are speaking the same language and yet they have problem in understanding each other. How? Let us take a very simple example. Imagine a person like me. I come from a village. I have learnt my English by reading books. I learnt my chemistry, physics, and all those subjects in English. That's the only way I have learnt English. I have never heard anyone speak English around me. When I was growing up, we didn't have Netflix, YouTube, anything like that. We did not watch English movies. If I come to Mumbai now, all of a sudden, I hear people from MTV culture who have watched Hollywood movies. I do not understand the kind of English they speak. Can you imagine this problem? You will face the same problem even if you are born and brought up in Mumbai. If you watch a lot of Hollywood movies, you do not understand a lot of sentences they use, you do not understand a lot of words they use, you do not understand their lingo, their dialect, their syntax, you do not understand their vocabulary. Because all these things are very culture specific. The kind of vocabulary I would use is very bookish. The kind of vocabulary you would use is very, what can I say? It depends on the dialect of the region that you come from, and that also constitutes language barrier. In reality, I did not understand a lot of those four-letter slangs, for example. One particular day, even just last year, I read a phrase somewhere that says, so and so festival going to be lit. And I did not understand what lit means. You see, all these are slangs, they are the local expressions, and not understanding them can constitute a language barrier. Now, let us see what else can come under this topic of language barrier. The first is very simple. Language barrier can occur when I'm saying something sarcastically. Now, in reality, a person like me, I just do not understand sarcasm. If somebody says to me, hey, you're looking really good today, and if he's being sarcastic, I'll just say thank you and move on. So if you're being sarcastic to somebody, and if that person does not understand sarcasm, then that is going to constitute a language barrier, because you're saying something very straightforward, sarcastically, the other person is going to take it in a very different way. That's the reason in the corporate communication, we always remember not to say anything sarcastically. We say something very straightforward and simply. So that is the first thing. When you are saying something but the other person interprets it in a very different way, that can constitute the first type of language barrier. Remember, things like sarcasm are extremely culture specific. The second point can be use of the words that are unfamiliar to the people from other culture. Think about something like the word gay. Word gay had such a different meaning, say in the 70s. Today it means a very different thing. In the 70s, in the British English, gay meant happy. Today it means something else altogether. Think about the words like what's up. You say that to somebody who comes from the tier 3 city of India, who has no access to Hollywood movies or YouTube and all those English. He will not understand what's up means. You ask my grandfather who speaks very good English, you say what's up, and he's going to say it's sky. He's going to interpret that quite literally. There can be so many words which can be culture specific again. In India, what you would call as Operation Theatre, OT. In America, they are calling it OR. What the Britishers called gurney, Americans would call it a trolley. In India, we call it a stretcher in the hospital, where patient ko litate hain. There can be so many words like that. In a Britisher, when he says, oh, that's wicked, man, he means it's really cool. You see, these different words may have different meanings in different culture, and that can constitute the second type of language barrier, when you do not understand each other's idioms. If you remember in school, and if your school teacher, if your English teacher was really particular about these things, she must have told you to learn idioms by heart. I particularly never understood any of the idioms, because idioms that we learn by heart are British, and in Indian culture a lot of them do not have relevance. and that's the reason we do not understand idioms from other culture. Think about so many other words like think about a word like bitch. Now this is a real example. When I was growing up, I was like 14, 15. That is the time you come across a lot of those the adult stuff that you didn't know before. So I had this curiosity, and we had absolutely no access to internet and things like that. The closest thing I had was my grandfather's dictionary, purchased in 1948, something like that. Really tattered pages. And I opened that up and I saw the word bitch. It was Oxford English Dictionary, published in 1948. The word bitch meant the woman who does not keep her husband's house clean. Right? It's a real thing. I'm not even joking. The word bitch meant entirely different things 30 years down the line, maybe in the 70s and 80s. We tried to associate that with a female dog. Maybe 10 years later, bitch meant a woman who behaves something like a female dog. Today, a bitch just means a vile woman, a really nasty woman. You see the way the meaning goes on changing. Now, if I'm using the word bitch again in front of my grandfather, he is going to have a different meaning of that altogether. That is another type of language barrier. The third type of language barrier is the interpretation of phrases goes on changing as per the changing time. Think about this. As per the socio-political situation in your country, the meaning of the words like communist, the meaning of the words like leftist, rightist, they change culturally and as per the political situation. In India, after the BJP took hold, word communist became a really bad word. Whereas, if you remember India of the 90s or when Congress had a strong hold, communist was a good thing. I mean, our country wanted to be communist. Capitalist was a bad thing. In a country like America, capitalist is a good thing, maybe communist is a bad thing. So these are again some words that can constitute the language barrier. Another very good word, for example, is feminist. Depending on which culture you come from, feminist may mean a very good thing or a very bad thing. ये गाली भी हो सकती है, ये उपाधि भी हो सकती है. So these are different ways of language barriers we have seen. I think that is pretty easy to understand. Now, if you have understood this topic correctly, you must have realized one thing. Language barriers are very close to cultural barriers because a lot of language barriers in fact emerge out of cultural differences. And hence with that, obviously the next topic we are going to look at now is cultural barriers.